Continue our discussion of Shloka number 17. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva. Reading from Gita, chapter number 2, Shloka number 17. Vinasu tatadvidhi yena sarvam idam tatam vinasam avyayasya nagaschit kartumarhati. Translation purport given by Divine English from Srila Prabhupada. Translation. That which pervades the entire body, you should know, to be indestructible. No one is able to destroy that imperishable soul. Purport. This verse more clearly explains the real nature of the soul, which is spread all over the body. Anyone can understand what is spread all over the body. It is consciousness. Everyone is conscious of the pains and pleasures of the body, in part or as a whole. The spreading of consciousness is limited within one's own body. The pains and pleasures of one body are unknown to another. Therefore, each and every body is the embodiment of an individual soul, and the symptom of soul's presence is perceived as individual consciousness. This soul is described as 1/10,000th of the tip of the hair. Hare Krishna. In Svetaswara Upanishad, it is being said, Varagrasata Vagasya Satata Kalpitasya Cha Bhavo Jivasa Vijnana Sa Chanantyaya Kalpate. When the upper point of the hair is divided into 100 parts, and again each of such part is further divided into 100 parts. Each such part is measurement of the dimension of the spirit soul. Similarly, the same verse is stated as Keshagrasata Vagasya Satam Sa Sadrasatmakaha Jiva Sukha Swarupoyam Sankhya Ito Ichit Kanaha. There are innumerable particles of the spiritual atoms which are measured as 1/10,000th by the upper portion of the hair. We'll stop here. We'll discuss the other part later. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Vena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadhami Gati Swapadanturam Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sudhubhyaya Titanam Bhavinebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Tangam Langayate Girmyat Kripatama Ate Shri Guru Dinatarinam. Hare Krishna. So, this shloka is giving us a deeper insights with the mercy of the Lord and His kind association through His pure followers. We are trying to address or understand what's our real position is in this world. The real position in this world is not reflected by how much we have, is not reflected with how much education we carried, is not reflected through our opulences or through our beauty, is not reflected through our health, is not reflected through any of these things. Real intelligence, real substance is reflected through our conviction in the words of the Lord and his representatives. If whoever has that conviction, even though he might be born in a family of a dog eater, he should be treated as a pure soul. But on the contrasting, if the person is born in a Brahminical family, his only birth, if he doesn't understand the signs of Krishna consciousness, which cannot be called as a Brahmana. Brahmajanati iti Brahmana. That is a person who is actually called as Brahmana, who has this understanding of this Brahman realization. He is convinced that he is not this body but a powerful spirit, so everything is running through that. That means his actions, through his actions, one can really perceive. Today in the morning, I was discussing with my parents because they were also part of the crematory services yesterday. They also joined. We did Sankirtana continuously for 2.5 hours. We were not seeing who is coming, who is going, who is chanting, who is not chanting, who is hearing, who is not hearing, who is really there, who is not there. I was just trying to please my spiritual master. Nothing else. I didn't realize that 2.5 hours went by just like that. Because the absorption in which we are, the intention was to please that soul. The intention was to give that soul a higher destination. The intention is to put him in a better position. Nothing else. That means every moment when we really work for the intention or the well-being of the other person, that is what actually pleasing the Lord. Not all the complaints of the world of this world we bring and put in front of the spiritual master. What works, what makes sense, what is really pleasing to the Lord is this. What is that? Not thinking about our well being, not thinking about our own so called adjustments in this world, but simply trying to do 1 minute, 1 minute of service for the pleasure of the other person. 1 minute. Now, this 1 minute thought process only comes when we understand what exactly these personalities are given to us. Our acharyas, our spiritual masters, they have given us the real shelter and real wisdom in this world. Because no one in this world will think about the other person. I'll write it down. Nobody in this world will think about the other person. Other person is people would think about the other person only to either put them down or to put their or to find their faults or to see bad in others or to put them in a different state or put them in such a position that we are in the higher position and then they are in the lower position. I remember my spiritual master telling at every moment he says, this is what we need to carry in our heart. What is that carrying is he says, even though we are giving the signs of Krishna consciousness, we should hold our hands like this. I mean, we should beg. Even though you're giving the higher thing, still we should have this mode of begging. Because the other person will never take if we do not have this state of consciousness. That means, no doubt, no doubt giving Krishna consciousness is a higher thing, but the mood should be this. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu manifested that through his life. through his actions, through his services, he manifested that what he said was he goes to every home. And then he started telling everyone, please chant Hare Krishna, please chant Hare Krishna. Even though the chanting of the process is a higher process, but what is he doing? He is requesting because he understands the people of this country are the most down, degraded age. Degraded age is what? Is Kali age only. It's not Satyuga. That's why if you actually see, the self-realization process in Kali Yuga is different to the self-realization process in Satyuga. Satyuga, the self-realization process is not to give. It's not those personalities are giving in this mode. Rather, the disciples are going to the spiritual masters. And then they are requesting, what should I do to attain self-realization? Then they will do an assessment. If they pass the assessment, then only they'll tell about the self-realization process. A Chaitanya process, no, that will not work in Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga batch is different because Kali Yuga nobody hankers to this. In Kali Yuga, everyone is hankering for their own advancement, so-called modification or advancement in this world. Yesterday also, when I was talking to others, they were sharing this. Are you know what? Where we came? We came to a person who actually left his body. Now, what kind of words we have to discuss doesn't matter. Everyone have their own agenda. They're telling, this is what happening at my office. This is what is happening at my this place, that place. This is what I have done. My business has advanced so much. This is happening. That is happening. So many understand. I was thinking, Are this person actually left the body? Do we have any understanding about this? No understanding. Because everyone is absorbed in their own world, in this world actually. That is how difficult place we are kept in. This material world is like that. It will never allow us to absorb in the real thing. It will show us so many other things of this world. And then whenever we find the people of this world, they also discuss the same thing. But there was one, my sister's friend. She was asking me a question, a very interesting question. Now, how much she'll take this process going forward is a different thing. But the question is itself is interesting. She says, when I was in my initial stages of life, I was trying to find some job, trying to stay in this in this field. To stay in this field, to stay in the field of IT, you should have a job. So it was very difficult to actually survive. So my motive at that point was actually to survive. But later on down the lines, survival became easy. But then what I was looking was looking for some stability. Is that stability is also there. Now after that stability, I was looking for some promotion. The promotion also came. Now after that, I changed my job. The change of jobs also occurred. After that, I want to go higher into the managerial position. That is also there. After that, I have a bigger team. That is also there. But still, at the end of the life, when I see now today, when I reflect, there is something which is missing in the heart. There is some disruption. Something is not connected. Something I don't feel. I am having everything, but somehow I'm not happy. I'm not satisfied to what I have. I said, this is nice. The Lord, Krishna, is actually, through his heart, is actually sharing this, stating that this is the right moment to take a correct association. But the thing is, the Lord, not only to you, this is what I said, not only to you, but to every person in this world, the Lord gives these situations in their life. But eventually, what happens is we do not carry out on those situations. We tend to forget it, we tend to miss it, we are kept in a different state. And then I told her again, "Oh, just like you have this face, but you're trying to find who actually you are because you're going through a difficulty. I said, this difficulty will not be like this forever because this is material world. Even the difficulties will come to halt. For example, if you are carrying this difficulty through this entire life, next life will not be like that. Or you might not know. You might not agree because you didn't see the next life. But next life is there. The activities in the next life will continue. Our consciousness will continue. Our state of existence will continue. Now that will not stop. So this life you might through good mind, you might go through difficulties, but doesn't mean that next life also you will go through the same thing. Because you'll be given some solace. Now through that solace, what is happening? We forget the real identity. Just like Bharat Maharaj was very difficult. Was actually the son of Lord Rishabdev. Was an expansion of the Lord, expansion of Krishna. Now that Bharat Maharaj, he heard the truth from his father and then he got this realization that I have to quit my family. Which that's what they used to do in the age of Satyuga. Please understand. This happened in the age of Satyuga. Now what is the age of Satyuga? In Satyuga, people will actually quit their family and then go to the forest and then do tapasya for 60,000 years and then realize and then they go back home, back to God. Please understand. 60 to 50, 50 to 60,000 years of tapasya they do. Then eventually they will get that mercy. Then they go back home. Please understand. That means just see the patience and the acceptance and the faith, the conviction, the tolerance, how deep they should have. It's not easy to continue anything for a longer period of time. Only in Sattva it can be continued. No other, and no other guna it can be continued. And that Sattva guna is actually given as a mercy towards the spiritual ministry. That means every person in this world who is aspiring to take Krishna conscious or who is in Krishna conscious, who want to continue Krishna conscious, that person is convinced in toto in his life that this is all being given to me as bakshish, as a gift. All of these things are given to me. It's not that I'm something superior. It's not that I have intelligence. It's not that I have this thing, that thing, so many other things. It's all been given to us as mercy by our spiritual master. So that thing when we understand, this is the moment of being grounded, dear devotees. Otherwise, we will not ground in this world. We will go more. That means our pride will actually take us into a different state. Now, how this thing is actually affecting us? Pashyanti na pashyanti. Just like Lord will tell, everyone actually know. They might know that we are not this body, but a powerful spiritual, which we see. Not only at every moment, we see this in a way that if a person will leave the body, this may the soul rest in peace. May the soul go to Vaikuntha. May the soul go to heavenly planets. May the soul be pacified. But when I speak these words, big words, that means the soul is actually present in all of those words. But do we ever really understand that? When the actions are seen, that understanding is not there. That means when the actions are kept, cannot perceive that. That means where are we fixed? We are fixed in this bodily consciousness. When we are fixed in this bodily consciousness, this real thing is not shown. The Shastra says when the body is burning on the fire, the soul is exactly 6 feet away. from that body and actually watching that. That means if the soul is not going to be, is not going back from back to body, the soul has to go through all of these things. The moment when the soul leaves this body, instantly he's been taken to the hellish world. Instantly he's been shown, he's been presented there. Within instantly he's back to this body. And then after 11 days, the soul is not taken instantly. Rather, that soul is taken slowly through the path where Yamadutas are taking. If this particular soul or whoever is going to the hellish planets means whoever is not Krishna conscious, whoever doesn't take this process to the heart, or whoever cheats through the process, or whoever doesn't accept this process. That means he has to go through the reactions. That means he has some big baggage of karmic reactions. Please understand. And not just every soul who leaves his body will go to the hellish planets. No, no. For example, if an animal is leaving the body, no, that animal will not go to the hellish planet. Because for that animal, there is no karmic reactions because it is going through the natural state. It's like a tiger. If the tiger is eating a deer, that's not that's not a sin to the tiger because that is the food for the tiger. No, for the tiger eating that, it will not carry sinful reactions. Because for the animals, for the jivas, they do not have this. For the animals, they do not have. For aquatics, fishes, birds, trees, they do not have karmic reactions. Why? There's a question. A lot of everyone would ask this question. Why only karmic reactions to human beings? Why not for those living entities? Because if you see, dear devotees, only human beings can perceive the difference of all of these things, not the animals. Please understand, animals cannot perceive. You understand what I'm saying? Animals have limited intelligence, but only human beings. Just like I said yesterday, everyone is in their own world. Just like just like an animal is in his own state, Jiva in this world, he is totally absorbed in whatever he is supposed to do in this world. Now, whatever he's thinking, now, now whatever he's thinking, from his thinking, he's thinking that that is right. But the thinking which he's doing, he never understands that is that shastric because that question will never come. Please understand, dear devotees, when we actually deal in our life or being put in any situation or any circumstance, we should always aspire. So we should always aspire whether this thing. So we should always aspire whether this thing is correct or not. I was just reflecting more about this yesterday because all day continuously trying to chant, trying to pray, trying to see what best can be done at this particular moment for that jiva to go to his next destination. Because but the Marshal spiritual master is fully convinced that this Atma is actually wandering here on. The Atma will stay here on until he goes to his next destination. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he is going in the Jharkhand forest, all the animals, they all started dancing. They came. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started chanting. They're also dancing. So, what is it we learn through that? Means real devotees. The Sankirtana spirit, which the Lord is actually showing, is for everyone. Means through their descending into this material world, they actually share us and show us how the science of Krishna consciousness can be taken. The chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, is it not a greatest blessing? It's a greatest blessing. Then we all came alone in this world. We all came alone. Do we leave alone from this world? We agree or not, we will leave alone in this world, from this world. That means, do we go anywhere else outside this world? It depends on what kind of consciousness we have given. It's a possibility going. That means we came along, we leave along. Actually, whoever goes to crematory, earlier days I used to see that. They used to say, everything is temporary. We do not carry or we do not take anything while going. I used to hear people telling. But these days, thanks to the advancement of this technology, nobody is speaking it. There's so much absorbed, whatever they are doing. That means they can only see what they are doing. They don't feel themselves connected to what's happening externally. Actually, this is a blessing of Kali Purusha. Through his advancement, we gave this technological advancement. Through that, everyone is absorbed in that. They have cell phones. They see that. They are absorbed in that. They don't perceive what's happening externally. Even at those difficult places, those difficult times, only few people who have relation, they cry. And even that crying, no doubt, people would cry because they have the relation that their loved ones are leaving the body. They cry. But when we see from the truth perspective, the sharing, the heart, they're expressing, no doubt that actually they're actually sharing their heartfelt feeling through that. It's a heartfelt feeling actually. God is crying, it's a heartfelt feeling. They're sharing through that. So when we see pure devotees, they also share their heart. You see, at times Srila Prabhupada also he cried. One time when he was giving a class in Hyderabad, he was singing Jai Radha Madhav. Then in between, he couldn't stop. Tears flowed from his eyes. And then he stopped the kirtan and then he left. Later on, 5 minutes later, Srila Prabhupada's devout disciple, he came and said, Prabhupada is not speaking today. He's not giving the class today. Oh, that is also sharing. That means emotions are there. But where are we keeping that emotions? For what we should cry, we should understand that also. That means your dear ones are leaving. Not saying that crying is totally bad. No. We have emotions, we have connection, we have relationships. Even though we say that this relationship is only to this pertaining to this body, but yes, we have. We stayed with them. We have feelings, we have emotions, we have sharings. So that we cry, that's okay, that's normal, that's natural. But we should also understand there is something higher to really cry. There is some higher things to be cried. For what we should cry. Chaitanya also, Mahaprabhu also cried. For Jarikhand of forest, he cried. Tears started coming out of his eyes by seeing the the dancing of deer and the tiger embracing each other. Seeing all the animals, tears came from his eyes. It's also emotion. So, what is the real emotion? We should understand that. One cries through one cries through Sattoguna, one cries through Rajoguna, one cries through Tamoguna. So different states. For exactly what we are doing for that particular aspect, it's really important to understand. We might do so many things in this world, but we should understand what is the real thing. And if you cry for that, that is a real cry. Yesterday, I was actually sharing this. One of the relative was telling he just started practicing little Krishna consciousness. He's telling, no doubt, definitely, but they have to vent out that feeling to say yes, I'm not rejecting everything. So eventually, are we not souls? Don't we have feelings? Don't we have thinking, feeling, and willing? We have. Through the thinking, feeling, willing only we are crying. Please understand. It's not that we are crying independent. For example, the soul is not there. Can we cry? We cannot cry. That means everything is happening through that only. We're not doing anything independently here. We're actually doing it through consciously absorbing in that. That's what Srila Prabhupada is mentioning in this purport. So then we are a conscious being, not this body. We're a conscious being. And this consciousness is spread through the entire body. So when the consciousness thinks something, so the moment they see that particular person who left the body, they have a they think about that person. They think about the connections with that person. The moment they think about that person, feelings will come, the emotions will come. And through that will, it will come out. For example, if I am envious towards one person, the, the moment I think about him, that those things are there in my consciousness. We have those feelings. That means our body will be in a different state at that particular point of time because I do not have I do not have good relation with that particular person. The moment the moment I see him like that in that particular state, my consciousness is treated in a different way. That means all of a sudden, this kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya come out. Just like a person who is leaving the body, the moment there is thinking and feeling and willing, we remember all of those things. We remember all the interaction with that particular person. And then that feelings, that emotions will come. But connecting to that person without connecting to the Lord, without connecting the source of that person, is not the real connection. That is the whole point. Not that emotion is not right. Yes, in relationship, emotions are there. Don't we see Brijavasis crying for Krishna? Don't we see Mother Yashoda crying for Krishna? When we see gopis and manjaris are crying out for Krishna and Krishna is not there, all of a sudden Krishna left and went them. Are they just sitting and meditating? No, they are actually really crying. They're crying. They're not sitting and meditating, oh Krishna, come, 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 come. No. They're crying, they're feeling, their emotions. They're doing it. And why do we put them on the topmost position? And then who are crying in this world, we see that crying is in a different state. We don't put them in that position. Why? Even the crying is not connected. Please understand, you know. That means everything has to be connected here. If you are able to connect all these dots, then you actually really experience what you are actually doing in this world. You'll understand, Harry, what's happening in this material world. You'll really understand. You'll really understand, Harry, this is different. I'm not like this. 20 years back, I'm not like this. 20 years ago, when I was child, I was not hankering for like big, big homes, big, big palaces. Did we ever anchor when you are a child? Did you ever anchor that you have to become a millionaire or you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to have a bank balance, so many other things? No. As a child, you did not hanker for any of those things. But we are hankering for that now. Why are we hankering for that now? This is a question. Now, let's say our hankering is correct. Let's say hankering to this material realm is correct. Let's assume that. If we understand that our hankering is real, it's correct. Our crying is real, it's correct. Our doing is real, it's correct. Our working hard in this world is real, it's correct. Tirelessly working for our children is correct. If everything is correct, then why am I leaving from here? Why am I leaving from here? I should be here. If I am doing everything for their happiness, if I am doing everything for their benefit, if I am leading my life in their way, in their process, then why am I leaving? I should stay here forever. Then why after 60 years a person is getting frustration that, oh, you see, 20 years or 30 years I worked for all of these people, no, they are giving me frustration. Why this thing will come into the consciousness? They're your children only, right? When the children would send their parents to old age homes, the parents in the old age homes, they're telling him, this my son is like fit for nothing. You see where he kept me? A lot of people, when they take the interview of those persons in the old age home, they say this. You see, my son, I gave him everything. I sent him to America. You know what he did to me? He did this to me. That means they really worked. Actually, what they're speaking is correct only. It's not that they're speaking incorrect. They really worked for them only. They did not eat, and then they fed their child. I remember my father also doing that. He's not a big man. He's not a billionaire. He's just a bank employee. Normal job. He's not like the CEO of the company or the Reserve Bank. He's not CEO of Reserve Bank. He's just a small employee. But he worked hard. We see that. Is that not true? It is true. But if they don't really understand who the real father is, they will get frustration in this world. No doubt they are working for everyone in this world, especially for their children, for their family, for their husband, or their wife. But they should understand why am I working. If this clarity we do not get in this world, we hold on to the frustrations of this world. Rather, on the other side, sometimes people do not hold the frustrations. You know what? They come to this understanding. That is also through the presence of the soul only. They come to this understanding that I have to move forward. They say that I have to move forward. That is also not helping the jiva. Okay, you'll move forward for how much time? They say that yes, time. We cannot live with that person. We have to continue with the life. What life we are continuing? And the animal is also continuing. Other human beings in this world, they are also continuing. What advantages they are getting? They're not getting any advantage. They're not getting any benefit. Are they getting closer to the Lord? No, they're not getting closer to the Lord. Time will heal what? Time will heal everything. The same husband or wife who is far from their beloved. When the time comes, the time will heal. That's how this material world is designed. See, Krishna is so merciful here, dear. He runs through time. As the time passes, we'll forget. Thinking, feeling, willing. In our thoughts, they will not come anymore. It's gone. That means even though we are not coming closer to him, he's helping us forgetting them in our life. He understands that remembrance is also ignorance only. Because why all of this is ignorance here about this? I don't say that just through this one statement, oh, everything, say all ignorance. Please try to understand. Why all of this is in ignorance? Because the real person through the real connection is missing. That is a single pointed reason. The real person is missing in one's life. If the real person is missing, all the problems will come. I was actually telling my parents in the morning today, the Lord has somehow given you both good health. You're continuing to use your body in the service of the spiritual master and the Lord. I said, never aspire to retain this body when ill health comes to your back. Never aspire to retain. Just try to connect this body to the soul. As long as this body is connecting to the soul, stay. If the body is not connecting to the soul, any, do not have any connection with this body. The body is not responding, pray, depend on the spiritual mission, depend on the Lord. It's only few days here and there, but you don't have to go through all of those things. Aspire for that state. The body is not cooperating. Simply give up this body and then go back to your real world. This is the real science with us because I did not tell them the moment they joined in Krishna consciousness, these words. I'm telling these words to them after 10, 12 years of practice. And then they were hearing nicely. They're not telling, oh, that's not your duty to take care of me. See, if you tell I'll take care of, that's not a problem. If you tell I'll take you to the hospital also, that's not a problem. But you should understand what is the real thing. What is the real thing in devotees? We should really have this clarity actually. If we don't know that we are not this body but a powerful spirit soul, we are connected so many phantasmagory of this world, we will never understand what Krishna consciousness is. See, Arjuna was in that state of conflicting situation. In that state of conflict, what is that state of conflict? Oh, how can I kill my family members? How can I fight? I cannot kill them. He understands everything. He's not this word about powerful spirit. But the arrangement of the Lord is kept in that state. And to convince him, Lord began to speak on this soul level. Because spirituality begins through that only. I can tell you something, one thing for sure. If this body is not used in the service of the Lord, it has to be used in the service of this material nature. For sure. Yeah, simple that. If this body is not used in the service of the Lord, it has to be used in the service of this material nature. That means if we don't, so if this body is not used in that, if we don't run behind them, then we have to run behind the hospitals. Oh, yesterday so many of the relatives they came, they're all sharing the same thing. They don't practice Krishna conscious, but they're telling something. You know what they're telling is very interesting. They're telling I shouldn't have sent my father there to that particular hospital. He was brutally his body was brutally abused, and then he eventually left his body. Now after that they are realizing that. I said that's great. I was just thinking if those personalities have received Krishna consciousness 10 years before, no, they will understand I'm not this. They will outrightly reject that statement of taking him to the hospital. And if the children they are also educated in that science, they will also understand, "Ah, yes, yes, yes. This is a real thing." But whoever doesn't have that education, they will tell, oh no, 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 we should take to the hospital. Okay, take. No problem. It's not that whoever going to the hospital, we are envious to them. No. That is their understanding. That is their science of seeing the life. Now, how are we seeing the science of seeing the life? Through the words of the Lord, through Bhagavad Gita. What does it mean? One should live through Bhagavad Gita. This is how one should live through Bhagavad Gita. That means one should practically apply that in his life. You know, when you do that, you get unlimited realizations. Your conviction levels will be so deep. And you will understand all of this conviction has been gifted to me. That's how you get conviction, actually. You know what is the secret of getting conviction? The secret of getting conviction is you at every moment you realize that this is actually being given to you. Because when we see our ears, is it not given? See our eyes, it's given. Nose, everything, the bodily organs, it's all given to me. I'm not independent, I'm separate of it. It's all been given to us. Now, the more we understand that, the more we are grateful for every moment in our lives. Actually, very interesting. Yesterday, I was about to go to Ongole, but when I came out, by that time he already left early in the morning. One second. By that time he already left early in the morning, and through that leaving, I could. I was trying to look for the taxi because I had to go. Because I was thinking that he'll stay for a few more days. Then I left. But at that moment, I realized, one second, dear, wait, one second. Array. So at that moment, actually, I was supposed to go yesterday only back to Ongole. But when I was going outside to get the auto, I saw they were standing outside. Then I realized, oh, it's time up. He already left. He left at 1:30 in the night. Right after Ekadashi, he left at 1:30. So we waited. So many reflections to tell actually. Yesterday, staying there. I was just thinking just to myself that how much protection I've been received. So many things have been taken out. I'm not running behind the material world anymore. I'm not running for my job. I'm not running for some any other external endeavors in this world. I have complete opportunity to run behind Guru and Krishna. Now that running can also be omitted. I can run through some other way also. That means stopping one thing doesn't mean that we are Krishna conscious. Stopping one thing and catching the real thing is actually Krishna conscious. If my stopping is yielding to some other action which is not Krishna conscious, that is a problem again. For example, remember we discussed few days back about the importance of Anukulena Sankalpa Pratikulesya Varjana. And through that aspect, we discussed how attachment and detachment has to be taken. What are we really attaching? What are we detaching from? If we know this just correctly and properly, doesn't matter, dear devotees, what situation you've been kept in this world, you'll actually come out in flying colors. Doesn't matter which situation we've been given, where we have been kept, doesn't matter. We will actually come out of the situations. The fast of bhakti is very powerful. It will promote everything. We unnecessarily don't hanker anything of this world. If something is changing in this world, that's okay. World is meant to change. You don't get rejected or excited through any of those changes or modifications. We understand what is the real thing and then we move forward. For this, we need to understand. We need to be fully convinced with ourselves. I remember my spiritual master telling to us multiple times. He told, don't ever aspire to put this body under different circumstances in the hospital. For this, you have to be simple, lead a simple life, eat simply, do your services, be calm, be sober, try to cultivate the consciousness. And then eventually, when you're supposed to leave, you leave. Then after leaving, based on your desires, if you want to come again, want to serve, you'll come again. You'll serve. You'll be born in a family of devotees. That will happen. If that is what the desire is. If you want to go back home, back to God, if we have if we have received all the qualifications, should use my words, use my words correctly. Because we cannot get those qualifications, it has to be given. The moment we receive all those qualifications by their mercy, that is also possible. But one thing is for sure, time is running out for everyone. Please understand. Every day we are closer to death. Every year you celebrate your birthday, you understand 1 year you are closer to it. You understand that, and through that understanding, when you really practice the science of Krishna consciousness, then you'll be joyful, stating that yes, 1 year I'm closer to see my father. Yeah, I'm closer. But another aspect we need to understand. Okay, 1 year I'm closer to the father. Now that conviction will deepen when we are really serving that father. So we should aspire for that state, aspire for that consciousness, and then move on. Very, very important. Bhakti is that only. There's a Lord, there's his devotee. There's a Lord and his devotee here. Krishna is with Arjuna. Now what is happening? An intimacy, a relationship is shown. This relationship is the only thing which comes to you. Is the only thing which comes with you. None of your bank balances, none of your any of these things, any of these words will never come. That only will come. None of these things will come. That relationship will only come. And if you aspire for that, to aspire for that, to understand for that, you should take the science of Krishna consciousness. If you take this science to the deeper level, deeper level, deeper level, Krishna will reveal the relationship. For that to happen, this kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsara is completely purified. That means the more we are not running behind this material nature, the more we are not trying to find faults with others, the more we are neutral with everyone in this world. Oh, you don't have to glorify every person in this world. If you glorify one person and his representative is that, that's it. I mean, you be neutral. You don't have to artificially glorify the other person. Naturally, you're getting some feeling you can share. Artificially, you don't have to glorify anyone in this world. Because the only glorification has to be done to that root person. Without connecting to the truth, any glorification in this world is it's not actually glorification. It's like decorating a dead body. Is it any useful? There's no soul. No, final times they decorate. Well, it's already Vaishnava acharyas that bodies are to be worshipped. I'm not talking about them. Talking in the general case. We should be very, very, very careful and very vigilant. Our tongue has to be checked always, dear devotees. Is it glorifying the Lord? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu simply through that exchange, he was happy, joyful. Ecstasy is coming. Tears are coming from his eyes. By seeing the affection among those animals. This is a real thing. Dear devotees, if you sincerely chant Hare Krishna, if you sincerely hear, you sincerely do your services, you'll get feelings, you'll get emotions. Those feelings, those emotions are right. Those things are right. But we should do it very selfless. If any of those things is filled with any material desires in this world, that thing will not manifest. Any desires in this world are pulling us or stopping us, we should understand that is the culprit, that is the problem. That means I have to change my consciousness. Now, when I begin thinking like that, when I begin meditating like that, trying to correct my consciousness, trying to check my consciousness, trying to see how this kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsara is obstructing. You know, dear devotees, they actually come through our thoughts only. You know how kama, krodha will work? It comes through our thoughts. You know, when we add a fuel to that, it becomes a manifestation. Now, all of these things will happen very quickly. Not that, oh, this happens, the thought will come, you fuel that, slowly it becomes a fire, and then eventually it comes out. No, it comes, it becomes very instant, it happens very instantly. Very quickly it happens. That means, please understand, that means how, how much more deeply we should be connected with our spiritual master. To really understand that all of these things are happening very quickly. It's an instance. The person says something, immediately react. But all of these things are happening in the background. This is happening in the background very quickly. And you should be even quicker than that to really perceive that, to really understand that this is not right. That means everything can be done in consciousness. Now, let's say if you give this entire consciousness to them, then you will remember it every moment. Then you'll actually perceive this truth at every moment. Then every moment is a preparation. Every moment you're seeing the truth. Jare dekho tare ka Krishna Upadesh. Then you want to discuss about the law. Then you want to share his glories. Then you want to be observed more. Then you want to stay more on a truthful plane. Then you want to stay more on a pure state. That is bhakti. That is coming to the level of sin. Somebody is telling us something, and they're telling your body, not you. They don't know actually who you are also. It's all out of ignorance it is happening. You don't have to be dejected in this. Real crying, real dejection is, my dear Lord, when will I take this process to the core of it? When will I access? When will I surrender? When will I submit myself? When will I anchor to that Krishna consciousness? When will I take the relationship more on a deeper level? For this, we need to cry. So we should understand now we got our clarity for what we need to cry. We should cry, Are, I couldn't send this. I couldn't correct my consciousness. I couldn't send this person to the spiritual world also. I couldn't do any service to him. For that also we should cry. That means I said at the beginning of the session that crying also has to be connected. That's what happens in the spiritual world. Whatever they do it with relation, connection. Spiritual world means relationship. One word, if you say for the spiritual world, it's relationship. That means wherever you go in the spiritual world, you see that. Everywhere you go, you see that relationship. Dasya is a relation, Shakya is a relation, Shanta is a relation, Vatsalya is a relation, Madhurya is a relation. The relationship is intensifying. The more connection is established. The more relationship is intensified, the unwanted needs, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, vatsara, they are vanquished. So we should all remember this. Their devotees, everyone's time will be up. Before the time is up, or class time is also up. Everything there is time. So before our time is up, we should realize what we should do. Hare Krishna, I'll stop here. Anyone who would like to add anything, like to share, can share, otherwise we'll continue tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Thank you, everyone.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances, Prabhu. All those to
Hare
Srila
Krishna.
Prabhupada. So, such a beautiful class today. A lot of points discussed from from birth to death and how to handle. One thing that I would like to share from what you mentioned on how to on what to discuss with the relatives about the person who left. Usually at that point, all these talkings on how he led the life, on what he did, we'll be, as you said, we'll be remembering them through the activities that they did for us or for the family. Mm, but as you said, the purpose of crying, it also should be corrected. We shouldn't be crying for the material things that we have done or in future that we are going to do. We really have to. I really have to cry for all the for leaving Krishna, for coming, um, coming from Krishna, coming away from Krishna, uh, or the anger, and all of these. You in the previous class also you have mentioned all of these. Kama, Krodha, Moha, all of these are also coming from Krishna, but if they are used for Krishna, for Guru and Krishna, they are all transcendental, right, Prabhu? But if they are used for material things, then obviously, when they are connected to material energy, then they are not good. The effects would be different. But that's a very high stage. To come to that stage, it's um, if we are in this material world and use them for our purpose, and we think, okay, I'm using for Krishna, that's not that's not correct at all. So the point that I was trying to share, um, you beautifully explained on what to talk in that situation of where a person leaves his body, what to understand first of all, and why this is happening. And you also, and the other point, that you are suggesting your parents on use the body as much as you can for Krishna's service, as it cooperates. But if it doesn't cooperate, uh, do not think too much about it. You just leave. Um, you have to focus on our consciousness on how to serve Krishna. Don't think too much about the body. So that's also one of the beautiful point, Prabhu. But all these realizations are the action to what we heard after the class, putting it into action. That's possible only if we have relationship, only if we hear in relationship and apply to please our acharyas in relationship. That's for sure. As you said, Prabhu, we can observe in the journey. So thank you so very much, Prabhuji. Thank you. Such a we call it a sensitive topic because usually in these topics are called sentimental, not sentimental, sensitive topics. It's very hard to explain, but we have spent 1 hour, one and a half hour beautiful message that you have given, all your realizations that you are getting from hearing from your spiritual master and sharing with us. It's amazing, Prabhu. It's really amazing. It clearly indicates your relationship with your spiritual master, sharing with us, relationship with acharyas. Thank you so very much, Prabhu. So grateful to you. Hare Krishna.
Actually, yesterday, few devotees were actually chanted with me. Were actually telling this is a very good Sankirtana. There are no kartal, there are no vidanga. We're just chanting. So I felt Then I saw the time. 2.5 hours just passed like that. I had no clue. 2.5 hours. We were just standing. We were just chanting. Some joined, some left. Some joined, some left. But I was just thinking about my spiritual master. Because he would chant for like 5, 6 hours, just like that. So I wanted to do some service for him. And I messaged him next day. We were able to do some Sankirtana. He appreciated it. Because he knows that's the last thing which we can do to that show. He understands the devotees. We also participate in so many Sankirtanas. We chant. Do you ever feel that this is my last Sankirtana? Do you ever think that this is my last thing? Don't. Why we don't get that feeling is because our absorption is so many absorption is at so many other places. Remember my spiritual master telling when he said when I heard from my spiritual master, he always has this conviction that oh this is my last class from my spiritual master. I don't know whether I'll hear this class again from him or not. Yes, that's a deep relationship he has. He said that's the reason I could hear every moment, everything what he said. And that gave me an opportunity to assimilate the truth in my own. So the relationship, I could do that smarana more deep inside the heart. He said that is how we should. See, hearing has to be done through relationship. Hearing has to be done through the protect through the attachment with the person, actually speaking. We have to select who that person is. But definitely we should be attached to them. Because if the attachment is not there, then the hearing will actually wander us at different places. If we are not doing to the pleasure of the other person, we cannot do it for 2 hours, 3 hours, 10 hours, or we cannot do this daily. Please understand. Cannot continue. That means to do something you have to prepare and do. Because it doesn't come naturally. If something is coming naturally, means it's only through relationship, it's only through attachment. So for what we are attaching, just like Bilvamangal Dr. Maharaj, I'll discuss this tomorrow in detail. I'll give a synopsis. He was attached to that lady, to that prostitute. Through that attachment, he was able to go through so many hurdles just to meet her. He's not seeing them as hurdles, but that attachment is what kept him in that state with her. That means through that he received a greatest realization in his life, and he claims her to be his spiritual master. Whatever she told him at that particular moment, Bilavangal Thakur Maharaj, what he heard from her at that moment, that changed his life. Why? Because he has attachment with that person. It's a very deep concept. We'll discuss this tomorrow. Hare, we'll start. Thank you all very much. If I caused an inconvenience to my words, please excuse me. My intention is not that. My intention is only to share the truth. The more we are absorbed in this truth, the more we can pursue. That is a real thing, actually. Hare. Thank you all very much. Shila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare